All right. Looks like it's like is this what's coming to? Huh? Is this what's happening? I guess this is what's happening. Yo, welcome back. I'm Vilgax. If you ain't seen me before, who cares? Look, we're all going through intense hurt and pain right now, or some of you are unbearable and delusional and having no time of your lives. But I have not made a video about F1 or in general since like I think July, June, either or. There's a prediction video. I haven't made a real video that wasn't just like me spouting shit for like I feel like since the start of the year maybe. I mean even the start of the year that was like prediction shit too. But 2025 F1 season has concluded. Yep, and if you can tell by the hat in the background, the shirt that I'm wearing, it is gonna be one of them. It's gonna be one of them rants. Yeah, look, we're all in pain here. I'm gonna rant about how awful and terrible this season has been. I'm not gonna mention, I think, any of the positives for that happened over the course of the season, except for right now. Shout out my son, Isaac Hadjar, who fucking got a podium in his rookie season. I put so much stake in Hadjar last season in F2. Oh my god, bro. You have no idea. I have no idea. And I also realize that if you're a returning viewer, which is 10 of you, this will be the first video I record without like some Gran Turismo ambient music by my guy Weeksy in the background. So using that, this is just a podcast with my voice. You don't have to look at me if you don't want to. I will take it personally though. But look, let's get it started, man. Thumbnail for sure and the title. Let's talk about that first. I'm assuming it's gonna be McLaren related, and that has by far got the most people in a beyond tizzy. So let's talk about it. Not gonna sugarcoat either. We all know this, and for those that are in denial, you gotta hear it from me. You're apparently gonna hear it from me right now. Lando is probably one of the least deserving champions in a very long time. Very, very long time. Like everyone's saying, Jacques Villeneuve. Yeah, probably Jacques Villeneuve. Just as a background, to be completely clear, I was a Lando fan in 2022 and 2023, still very largely, and 2024 was definitely when I was starting to really like think this guy was intolerable. Because he was just, he was whiffing wins. He was making the worst excuses to mankind. His mentality was just so unlikable. It was ridiculous. The non-stop shit talking about the GART in the back. You can't really see both floors, but you get the idea. It's just like unacceptable, quite frankly. And this ring true of a bunch of people. I think around 2024, if you were neutral or even slightly like Lando, you weren't like a stan, that's really when you started being like, yo, can this guy fucking please shut the fuck up? And how is he losing so many races? And I wasn't as big of a performance level hater on Lando as other people were. A lot of people like to say that the McLaren was the fastest car for about like 18 of the races, or like a bit more than what I think it was actually the fastest car for, which is probably like a bit over half, which is still too many to be losing the championship with. But I will say also, for the first few races, the car was probably not even the second fastest. It was probably like tying for third or fourth, to be honest. But around this time, I think is when a lot of people really started to hate Lando, myself included. And then 2025 came around, and brother. So I was actually at the Australian Grand Prix, first race of the season. And if you can't tell, I am Australian. And that was when Lando won his first race. And honestly, who gives a fuck? Lando won like what, 3 races in a row at the start of the season, I believe. Or maybe not. No. It was a Lando, Oscar, and then a Max at the top of my head, something like that. Doesn't matter, dude. It was so honestly, it feels like so long ago, and I'm so blinded by sadness and rage from the event of this season. Then it really doesn't matter. What we all know is Oscar was leading the championship by a gigantic margin for so many of the races. Up until, well, not up until, but and we all know Zandvoort last win. Since Zandvoort, completely downhill. If you are a Lando stan, and God forbid this video like makes a little bit of views, like my Danny Ricciardo vid, the only other video with any type of viewership at all, really. Please let me spell it out for you, okay? Your team is the single reason why Lando won this year, and I don't mean that as a call. I mean preference, pure preference. First of all, what was it, Monza? When Lando hit Max and Oscar in one fell swoop. No penalties. No penalties at all. What is that about? You had Baku a few races later, which I think was only a happenstance of mentality from the team breaking down, because Oscar did crash. Like, it was a shitter weekend. But I really do think that was pure mentality. Because you also had, the turn 1 incident in... I don't actually remember what race it even was. Was it Vegas? I don't, dude, again, blinded by rage. I don't care. You know the event I'm talking about. Turn 1, locks up slightly in the front left. Goes into, I believe this side was, I think it was Kimi to the right. Makes contact, gets penalized, I think very, very unfairly. The only reason I'm assuming why that was a penalty is because it was a race restart. It wasn't literally turn 1 of lap 1. But it's a race restart. If we're being so honest, that is... brother, be so fucking for real. So for real. This, like, mafia shit you see going around Twitter of McLaren agency, FIA type shit is so true. It's ridiculous. I think the most frustrating thing about this also is, like... it's just, like... Lando is good at one thing. And he's very good at it. When he's not completely against himself in his head, he's pretty quick. His pace is very good. He's not Charles Leclerc. Let's not go crazy. Don't glaze. But he's pretty good. But that's the only thing he can do. Look, we're gonna have a fun little game, you and me. Alright? I'm gonna put up the mic to you, and you're gonna tell me one single time this season Lando had like a battle against another driver and overtook another driver that wasn't on like a DRS straight, alright? Wait, what? Never? Yeah, never. Yeah, exactly. He's fucking terrible. His racecraft is so fucking bad, it's ridiculous. And I think a lot of you in the audience might be remembering in your head, you're trying to think of battles that Lando had. Like, wheel-to-wheel action. And you might be thinking about that time where he tried to pass Oscar. On what was, I'm pretty sure, a DRS straight, right? And then fucked it into the wall. Because he can't do shit. Just a few races ago, before the end of the season, we saw him try and do a Max Verstappen late break on the inside dive bomb and completely fuck it off track. Lost in positions immediately. If it wasn't for... And be nice to the kid. If it wasn't for Kimi Antonelli losing his position by the end of the race, that would have cost him the championship right then and there. Max would have won it. This guy is fucking terrible wheel to wheel. So ridiculous. And this dude, Zach Brown, one of the worst, like, team principals, coaches, anything of any sport or esport I've ever seen. Ridiculously disingenuous. Again, a few races before the title decider, we heard comments of, yeah, I would actually rather Max Verstappen win than to favor one of my drivers. And then what do you know? Right before Abu Dhabi, yo, Oscar, can you actually, like, if it comes down to it, can you please, like, just help Lando a little bit? Gross. And it ruins the fucking sport. I'm gonna be so real. I think this is not something we have often thought about, because normally if there is a, well, because if you look at the champions right before Lando, you had Max, who was destroying his teammate basically at all times. Lewis, same thing. And then the last time we had like two drivers in the same team that were close were Rosberg and Hamilton. It's been a really long time. That was 2016 the last time that happened. But like what you're getting at McLaren is so disgusting, because what I don't like about this is you're getting rid of, I think, a lot of the individual driver aspect of a championship. I really don't fuck with this, I knew you would have had this last year. I think this did rub me the wrong way last year, when Oscar was much behind Lando and still learning and not quite the driver he was this year. It is ridiculous to think it's like sacrificing a driver consistently to help the other one although I get it, it's just really gross. I think it ruins the spirit of competition in so many ways. When the team is this intrusive on driver battles, strategy, affecting both drivers, it's just so boring. Like, and I think a lot of people feel that in the fact because like real Max. I think a lot of people, not nearly as many as there are right now that are sad about Lando being champion. I think if Oscar was champion, you would have still had, I think, a good chunk of people, I think, rightfully outspoken about Max not being champion and Oscar being champion. Because the team is just like, I don't know, it feels so busted for the spirit of competition. I don't like how this shit is going. And this is just not a problem. When you have two drivers like this, it's just ridiculous. Like, clearly, these teams, or no team, has thought about managing two top drivers in such a long time. In any facet. If they're battling each other, leave them alone. Like, leave them alone, bro. The pit swap I fucking forgot to mention as well. What is that? Dude, it happens. It happens, bro. Like, this is ridiculous. It's being so intrusive on a championship is boring. It makes this title feel so much less impactful. Even if Lando did deserve it, I really don't think it would have felt any type of way, dude. It's just, this team is fucking stalling, bro. It's so ass. It's crazy. Oh my god. And if you haven't noticed, this is completely unscripted. So I'm sure you got the gist of what I'm saying here, unless you have 4 stuck completely up your end. I think that's honestly all I have to say about McLaren. You and me, we know how ridiculous this has been, and how unfair all of this has been on Oscar. And for the record, I don't think he's gonna swap to like Aston Martin. What's going to happen is that he's gonna drive again next year and probably beat Lando, and that's gonna be that, bro. Like, oh my god. Also, his stupid fucking girlfriend, get out of here. Get out of here, you creep. You absolute creep. That's another story. Now let's move on, bro. Like, let's talk about. I want to look at some of the other teams here and see if there's any other things I can pick out. Right? Mercedes, dude. Kimi absolutely came into the sport too early, and I think a lot of things. Something that you have to remember when talking about Kimi Antonelli is it's not like he was a rookie in F2 and then stepped into F1 at a young age. Although that is literally true, he did not even participate in Formula 3. He won several regional Formula 4 titles, skipped Formula 3, rookie Formula 2, 1 season in Formula 2, and was set straight into Formula 1. Which was a massive, massive mistake. I think, potentially. I think it'll work out okay, but you see how he's acting when Lando won the championship? And he knows, because of the previous race, that his actions did, well, I say actions. Him, messing up the corner and losing that position did cost Max the championship. But, like, it's just racing. It happens. Shit like this happens, bro. Like, we're not on no Felipe Massa shit. Like, this shit is just, it just happens. Like, does it suck? Yes. But it fucking happens. But he's cutting himself up endlessly for it. It's not even his championship. Like, brother, you're in 6th or whatever the fuck in your championship. It's like, you're not Max. But he's made because of comments of, like, Marco and I love Max. But his fan base is still so terrible. It's dog shit. It's so dog shit. It's crazy. It's actually wondrous how fucking obnoxious it is. But this kid is just, I think, in terms of talent, I bet on him in Australia. I put money down on him. Of which, by the way, thank you, Vilgax, for bringing that up. Mercedes, I will not forget that in qualifying in Australia, you fucked up his ride height, so his car was dragging on the fucking ground in qualifying. Messing up his qualifying position, of which I think he qualified 15th or 16th. And then worked his way up to 4th. Bitch, I put at least 50 bucks. I think I put 100 on that shit, bro. But, kids, gamble responsibly. I put 100 on that shit. Because I knew from Formula 2, and I believe it was the Silverstone Sprint race? I saw that shit in the rain. Bro, he gapped second by 12 points in a sprint. Not 12 points, 12 seconds in a sprint. Are we serious? 12 seconds in a sprint? That's like 18 laps. I knew this kid was goated in the wet. So I saw the fucking weather forecast for Australia, which I had to deal with, go there physically and deal with. And I was like, holy shit. He's him. Watch this. And then and then the CIA came in, Ronald Reagan and all that shit. Like, actually, 666. And you look, it's $100 down the drain. I don't care. Look, this was my gambling year. Don't ask me how much I'm down. This was my gambling year. But he went from 16th to 4th. Brother, I really think if he started up there. Oh, by the way, he did, I think, one of the craziest overtakes I think I've ever seen, which I think was on, I believe, it was either one of the Williams or Hamilton. I'm actually not sure at the top of my head. But please, like, if you haven't seen it, look up the Australian Kimi Antonelli overtake. That shit was crazy. Side note, I might edit this video, but if I do, I ain't putting that shit in. Fuck you. It's too much work. But dude, he showcased amazing talent. I really believe that if he started up there, I would be $5,000 richer. Because quite frankly, going from 16th to 4th in what is your first race of the season is actually beyond incredible. Especially showcasing better racecraft than Norris has in his entire fucking career. But you know, that's besides the point. I have nothing bad to say about Russell at all, by the way. I feel like, by the way, whenever he bitches and complains about something, he's very usually absolutely correct. Even though he can come off as very whiny, I think he's very largely the right so much of the time. I'm going to be so real with you. I think that's really all I have to say about Mercedes. I think. I love Kimi, man. Kimi's a good kid. I really want to save Red Bull for last. Let's talk about Ferrari. Dude, I don't know. I say let's talk about Ferrari, but what is there even to say about this fucking joke of a team? This is something I've said to my family that enjoy watching F1 and my friends that I watch F1 with. But please imagine if Ferrari didn't have this endless supply of like resources and, you know, talent they can find from having the label of Ferrari. And imagine if they were a team like Haas. Who are just, you know, they're not a manufacturer team. They're just Haas. That team would be fucked, bro. Like, and I don't know. You know, I say this, but this is actually kind of extremely contradictory, right? Because my point is, imagine if they didn't have all these resources and money and like ability to find employees and shit like that. Like, that would be like useless. But even though they're Ferrari. They keep going about this, like, the most winningest team in all of fucking Formula, the most successful team. Who gives a fuck? You suck. And you're buying all these employees, you're paying off all these employees, and they all suck ass. What the fuck is happening? We will not forget these radio messages at the start of the season. I think there's something, there's water, there's something wet in my seat. There's water in my seat. Must be the water. Okay, nice. Nice, man. That was actually one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I'm sure if I was so inclined to deep down in the Ferrari messages for this year, this video would be 50 times longer. Because the amount of times, the classic, right, that everyone knows is just checking, or fucking Hamilton's engineer, who I forgot the name of. Is it Ricardo Adami? I feel like that might be it. I hope that, well, maybe it's close. But, brother, whoever Hamilton's engineer is, I think fucking straight up hates them. He hates him, bro. He's either ignoring him or pestering him for no fucking reason. And it's ridiculous. Or just giving no information, bro. Like, oh my god. This guy was jumping up and down for Abu Dhabi 2021. You know it. He's heard that he's like, you're assigned to Lewis Hamilton. And he starts fucking shaking his fist in anger, bro. Like, this team is an embarrassment. And the fact that Charles Leclerc's talent is being wasted on such a shithead team is so sad. I think and listen to all the Leclerc lovers out there who think that this prime of his career is going to get wasted. I don't think so. But, well, it could happen. But that's not necessarily true in terms of the age thing, right? Because you have to look at it, you know, positivity for a change, right? You look at this. Hamilton, when was Hamilton winning the large majority of his titles. It was in his 30s. I'm not gonna do the math on that. How old? Whatever. He was like mid to late 30s, winning all those fucking titles. Yes, he won his first one at like what like 26 or some shit, something like that. I don't remember. I'm not doing the math on that. But he won the majority of his titles in his 30s. Carlos Sainz is still decent. Yeah, I say decent. He had, dude. It's really hard to say how good he really did this season overall. I know hearing me say that is like, you know, like, what the fuck are you talking about? He got like 2 podiums. He got 2 podiums. But like, he was so unlucky this season. But like, I think also a bit of performance, whatever. We're not talking about Williams. We're talking about Charles. Point is, Alonso, old as fuck, still cracking out performances. Although this year's was pretty shaky. Hulkenberg is a great example. Hulkenberg only got his first podium this year. Although I think a lot of, if you had wheel knowledge, you know the Hulk was mighty. Shout out last year when I think I put him 3rd in my top, in my best drivers of the season in the mid-season report last year. I know Hulk can ball. Shout out Hulk balls on Twitter. But I say all this to say I don't think Charles' career is gonna get wasted. It could if he stays at this fucking knuckle-dragging team forever. Because will they be good in 2026? I'm like seriously inclined to think no. Like, why would they start now? By the way, if they made some scratching noises, I'm so sorry. Oh, let me get a nice grip on you. That was actually crazy. But yeah, I really don't think so, man. I don't know. We all know why Ferrari's bad. People that love Ferrari know why it's bad, and they are hurting the most. So we can move on. It's okay. I have nothing negative to say about Sauber besides the fact its title sponsor is Kick. I don't think they did anything fucked up this year. Did they? Besides obviously again Kick title sponsor. But if you're complaining about like evil ass companies in the sport, like, yo, you have to take down the chin, bro. Like Aramco, Shell, Oracle, like it's over. Like if you're watching F1, the most corporate sport of all time, you kind of just have to let that shit slide. Just like allegedly watch it legally and then just like feel better about yourself because of it. But like I don't know. I have nothing to say about Kick actually. We can move on. Let's go to Aston Martin. And should we swap it up to some good news? Like Alonso got just unreal unlucky this season. The fact where he was being outscored by Lance, I think, for maybe the majority of the season. I feel like it's only in maybe the last nearly third of the season where I think he actually overtook him, and now he somehow ended up 10th in the championship, which is fucking crazy. I actually don't know how he did that. I'm gonna be so real. I'm gonna be really real with you. That's incredible. But besides that, really nothing much. Lance has a good chance of being kicked out of the team now that Newey's is really on there. And I've been thinking for like years that Lance is gonna leave the team just on his own accord, because I do think he's delusional. I think like, dude, like he's not doing anything every season, bro. His time of like occasional banger performances have. I say that, but like this season was actually probably Lance's best season since like 2020, fucking 2021. But he's still just meandering and not fucking doing anything, bro. He just needs to leave and get a certain Japanese driver in there that and I'm gonna say that for last because like yeah, I have a lot to say about that. Haas, I think, is another team that I don't think did anything wrong. Behrman impressed massively. I think it is shocking. Although I have a feeling, by the way, because those two are teammates again for the next year, if Ocon beats Behrman in the head-to-head, both in points and qualifying next year, and you're like, what the fuck, where did this come from? Don't be surprised, because although Behrman was massively impressive, I think Ocon went under the radar and how unlucky a lot of his qualifying sessions went. Because normally in the race, he was still very powerful. Or at least about where I expect Ocon to be. I've always rated him in terms of pace as a driver. He just used to be a shithead. But I'm glad to see that he's pulled it in. But I'll just say, if you see Ocon beating Behrman next season, and you're like, where the fuck did this come from? I think he got like actually decently unlucky in a lot of sessions. But Behrman massively impressed. I didn't think he would do this good. I knew he would be good, but I didn't think he'd be quite this good. He did have, obviously a few races last year for Haas and Ferrari, and he's probably had a lot more tests than someone like Kimi Antonelli has, or even, I was gonna say Hadjar, but probably not. But yeah, no, massively impressive. Yeah, for sure. I gotta shout out. I glazed over Bortoletto, but Bortoletto also exceedingly impressive. Had a fucking scary crash this year too, and he's so lucky that I didn't like seriously threaten his life or someone else's. Like that was crazy. We only have 3 more teams to talk about, unless I skipped Williams. Which, again, Williams, let me make it nice and quick, fantastic this season. They're going to be starting next to Ferrari next year in the pit lane, in the garages, which is fucking hilarious. But I don't really have much to say. Albon actually ended up losing. I think, yeah, it's crazy. Carlos did say this. I really do think both of them had such unlucky seasons for 50% of it. We all saw this with Carlos, because Carlos stopped being unlucky and then cracked in 2 podiums, which is very, very impressive. But Albon was the same thing, bro. Like, that guy was... I was thinking about this just before, because towards the end of the season, up until Abu Dhabi, the fight Antonelli was having in the championship was Lewis. But no one remembers it feels like a few races ago, the person he was having a fight with in the championship was Albon. He was very close to Albon for most of the season. And I feel like people just completely forgot because Kimi just started tapping in. He started tapping in like really hard and putting in performances that you would expect to see out of him and what we saw out of him in Australia, for example. But like I thought that was crazy because I saw that, and even myself included, I was like, dude, remember when they will have like the close fight for like 8th or whatever was Albon and Antonelli, and now he's just gapped him completely. Williams, I'm so happy. I'm a Williams fan. I do have a Williams long sleeve, but I think it's in my bedroom instead of my office. But yeah. And also I gotta say this. I think if I look at the teams, Williams is I think the only team that makes sense to purely love, like the most pure team that you could love. Like, we're talking team principal drivers. Well, Carlos Sainz has maybe said some questionable stuff and might have some questionable beliefs. Maybe. I hope not. But, like, besides that, hopefully. It really is... Like, they're Mercedes, to be honest. Unless you're, again, like, certain sponsors, but, unless you're a George hater, which... Come on, you'll come around. You'll come around eventually. But I think really those 2 teams are the only teams that you can, like, feel good loving 100%. Obviously, the diehard Ferrari fans are going to be like, what are you talking about? But then they're going to remember how fucking awful the team is. And I think Ferrari's unique in that situation where Ferrari... Normally, if you hate a team, you either hate its boss, like Zach Brown, team principal, like Horner, or Zach Brown, who is effectively the team principal, it feels like. We hate the drivers, like Stroll, fucking, I don't know, Mazepin or some shit. I don't really dislike too many drivers on the grid. Lawson. But Ferrari's unique in the sense that that you hate the team because of how terrible the engineer, like the people working there are. Like, they all seem like dickheads. And I gotta say, that group photo of them at the factory, it's very suspiciously all white. Like, so I'm sorry, not one like Indian man, no brown guy, no brown guy. I don't even think I saw, like, obviously Indian is Asian, but not even like no Japanese or anything, like nothing, dude. Nothing, Africa. I don't even think, dude. I would go as far as I would be shocked if any of them were even like American. Not even. Obviously, most of America is white, but like, what is going on here? Genuinely Ku Klux Klan ass team. That's why they hate Lewis so damn bad. Like, genuinely, like, bro, DEI for a reason, bro. Like, you got a group of. By the way, I don't think I saw any women in that team either. It's just old cis white males, bro. The one of the team is so shit, bro. You don't have a damn Hannah Schmitz, like, or anything. Laura Muller. Oh, Fingers crossed I got that one right. That is her last name. I know it's Laura, but or is it Lauren? Whew. All right, now we might be in trouble. But seriously, like, what the fuck is happening in that team? It's so bizarre. They're unique like that. Now that I've covered, wait, sorry, I forgot. Alpine, how's it going there, bud? I don't know if anyone else has been seeing what Pierre Gasly has been saying over the course of the year, but he's got a really strange amount of confidence saying that he can fight for the title next year in 2026. And I kind of believe him, because what the fuck has he seen at that factory to give him such confidence? Like, with how bad this season was going, how bad last season started, and Alpine picked it up and then dropped the ball again. I don't even remember how bad Alpine was last year until like midway of the season, or maybe like after a third. But they were so shit, it was crazy. And this season, they could have gotten first. They could have won the race at Alpine, and they still would have came 10th. Dude, that is ridiculous. That's so ridiculous, bro. How could you be so far behind? Every single like midfield team made massive steps up this year. Williams, Haas was incredible. Sauber, after how shit Sauber's season was last year, and they did this, Hulkenberg's first podium, incredible, bro. Like, actually, Aston Martin did take a step down, I think. I actually don't remember how good they did last year. They probably took a step down, but they weren't awful. They were there. Where the fuck was Alpine? Like, let me tell you, because I do have grievances with Alpine. And I'm gonna bring in my guy Fornaroli for this. Leonardo Fornaroli. Yeah, look, if you're not in the know about Formula 2, then like, fuck. Fake fan? No, I'm kidding. But like, you're missing out. First of all, because if you're watching Formula 1 and you're like, damn, this race fucking sucks, you should have watched the F2 race instead. Because the F2 races, I've never seen a boring one. They are always genuinely so much better. It's crazy. I mean that like please. And for the record, the cars in person, the F2 cars and the F3 cars as well, sound amazing. I love them so much. And you get much brighter liveries for what it's worth. But I love Colapinto. I didn't like I didn't like Jack Doohan. My bad for combining his first and last name. Don't do that. But Jack Doohan, I never really fucking cared about, quite frankly. He was decent in F2. He did not deserve the seat this year, dude. Like, I get he did a bunch of sim work, and maybe they're like, oh, this guy's got some sauce. But I think he deserved to get kicked out, very rightfully. I don't know, a lot of people look at Colapinto getting 0 points in his time this year. But I ask you, like, again, sorry for that sound. I ask you, what race could he have gotten points in when that car was such a dumpster? Jack Doohan didn't get points when that car could have gotten points. Like, absolutely, I think it could. Because the car was not great all year, but there was definitely a time where it was still relative enough to to maybe the 6th fastest car on the grid, to where it probably should have gotten points a bit more. It could have gotten points. Gasly showed us that, actually. Gasly, I'll let people shit on Gasly. That Gasly edit is genuinely fucking amazing. But I think you gotta remember, Gasly is a fantastic driver, actually. I think Gasly has the Fernando problem of when the car is shit, he just clocks out. Like, what I do, now that I think about it, I do remember when the car was shit, I think at the start of this year or last year, Fernando also fucking clocked out, bro. But then the car became goated, and then Fernando's back. And you saw that with 2023 as well. Like, when the car's good, he's amazing. And then the car's bad, he's like doing the most unreal dumb shit that isn't even indicative of like car performance. He's just doing donuts at the start line for no reason, shitting his pants. Like, dude, I'm telling you, I think he genuinely has a bit of Fernando in him, where like his mood and willingness to race just scales with the car, like to an unreasonable degree. And I bring this out, by the way, to say that Colapinto's qualifying performance was good against Gasly. His race performance compared to Gasly was good compared to Gasly. I think he might have beaten them in the head-to-head. Because I do remember the actual gap between qualifying performances between the two were very marginal. It wasn't like Jack do it. Like, I think you have to give him a break because you got to think, bro. Think about again what I was saying earlier about the most of the midfield teams stepping up. So you have Red Bull, or at least Max, if they didn't fucking sabotage my guy for like 20,000 races in a row. But you have Red Bull, you have McLaren, you have Mercedes, you have still Ferrari. Ferrari are bad, but they're not Alpine. Williams have been better than them all year. Aston Martin have been better than them basically all year. Haas have been better than them basically all year. Except for maybe a few races, I think, at the start of the year where there was sometimes the slowest car. Like, what points are meant to be gained? Like, you can have a problem with Colapinto's fan base all you want. That is so fucking valid. But be so reasonable. Like, do you just expect them? There's not physically enough fucking room for him to get points. There just isn't. That doesn't make any fucking sense. You would have to hope for, like, top team DNFs. Not even just top team. You'd have to fucking hope for like 5 drivers to DNF each race that weren't Alpine to have a chance at getting points. And I understand also that, like, you know, these are drivers, they're not robots. Sometimes they'll qualify lower, so sometimes Alpine should qualify higher and get points at some point. But even still, like, seriously, do the math in your head and like think about it. Like, when are they meant to get points if the car is so bad, and every other car is fighting for fucking podiums, basically, bro? Like, damn near. Dude, like, what? Haas got 4th this year. Vilgax got a podium this year. Williams got a few podiums this year. Sauber got a podium this year. Ferrari, obviously, you know, they're Ferrari, but Charles got like 6 podiums this year. By the way, the only fucking season in Lewis's career to not get a podium. Shocker. Like, that's ridiculous. There's just not enough room for Colapinto to get points. Gasly, I don't even think clocked in a point for a good chunk of the season on the second half. Like, this is not enough room, bud. You gotta cut him some slack. I'm saying all this, though. Paul Aaron should be in the seat. Paul Aaron was an amazing driver in F2. And Paul Aaron, for those that don't know, was a Mercedes' original kind of golden boy until Kimi Antonelli popped up as this, like, new, like, prodigal talent. But I really think Paul Aaron is really good. Again, anyone that watched the F2 season last year, I think can talk with me here. He's really good. I think genuinely, like, he would be as good. I'm promising he would be doing as good as like. It's tough to say. I was gonna say Behrman. Let me tell you, he would have done fucking way better than Lawson. He would have been better than Lawson. He wouldn't have been as good as Hadjar, but that guy was a contender in that championship for a very long time until a massive streak of bad luck hit him. Paul Aaron is a phenomenal talent. And I'm also bringing up Colapinto, or the lack of seats that are warranted for Leonardo Fornaroli. This is my grief. And up until after Abu Dhabi, Leonardo had not even signed with a team that's on the grid yet. But Leonardo Fornaroli was the F2 champion this year, or is the F2 champion this year, was the F3 champion the year before, and does not have a seat on the grid. This is ridiculous. Like, brother, back-to-back F3, F2 champions, you think about the people that have had that. It's Oscar Piastri, Bortoletto, Charles Leclerc. Like, please, man. Like, get him on the grid. I just, like, it's ridiculous, man. Like, again, now they've signed to McLaren, who knows when that'll happen. Maybe Oscar Piastri will shit on Lando next year, and Lando will crack it and then fuck off. That would be beautiful. That would be a dream come true. But it's unlikely to happen. Leonardo Fornaroli is really just my grievance. And I think we can get into Red Bull and VCOB. So, as many of us are aware, my beautiful son, Yuki Tsunoda, has been killed. Yeah. What I think genuinely what is the most unfair removal of a driver, not even just from a team, but from the sport, in so long. If you just casually watch F1, and this is what gets me, if you just casually watch F1 and don't keep up with any inner workings and whatever the fuck of how things happen in races, and maybe if you see a driver underperforming, like, oh, how the fuck did that happen? If you just don't keep up with this, Yuki's removal from the sport looks justified to, I think, a lot of people that are just super surface level. Could not be further from the fucking truth, genuinely. I want to start with VCOB, right? Also, let's talk about VCOB on its own some real quick. Negatives about VCOB is that Lawson's still on the grid. His girlfriend's a Nazi and like a Trumpy. She's a fucking loser. And bro, you like Lightning McQueen, bro. Oh, you like that really good movie. Oh man, what a thrilling personality trait. Shut up, bro. And you don't, fuck, you suck. You don't suck. He's just barely good enough to like deserve being on the grid, because he's kind of like Lando. He's genuinely very similar to Lando, where I think his pace for the amount of time he's been in the sport is pretty good, but his racecraft is fucking terrible. Dude, I don't know. It's not like he's like a complete rookie. He's had how many races prior to being in F1? Like 14. Like he's done like half a season before he got here, and his racecraft hasn't improved at all. He sucks. I don't think it's not gonna get better. He's gonna get beat by Arvid next season, but yeah, whatever. But I bring up Vicom, bro, because Yuki, ever since Pierre left the team in 2020, after 2022, that car has been Yuki's baby. He's been developing that car for the rest of the regulations that we're in, and you see Melbourne and China Q3s. By the way, that fucking image of that statistic, which I don't think aged particularly well, of VCOB having more Q3s, double Q3s than Red Bull, is so bullshit. Because at the time of that image, that statistic wouldn't be possible if Yuki hadn't gotten Q3 when he was at the team. But the way it's marketed is just Liam and Aja. No Yuki. So disingenuous, it's ridiculous. The race, by the way, you fucking pieces of shit over the race, fuck you. Most disingenuous, no journalistic integrity at all. I hope you all get like smashed together by like Adam Smasher, bro. Like unreal. You guys suck. You guys suck so fucking bad. But brother, that car was amazing this season. That car was amazing, and it's all because of Yuki. And we see this, by the way. You saw this last year a little bit. When I think he had a little bit of testing with Red Bull, and you saw that at the start of the year. Red Bull have praised Yuki's mechanical feedback consistently. Even Marco has been consistent. Marco, has been consistent about this. Even Horner, I think, was consistent about this. Is that his feedback about the car is very normally amazing. Like I think it's Yuki's most underrated aspect. Which is hard to gauge because we don't work at the teams, we're not mechanics, most of us. But this guy's feedback on the car has been amazing. He's been the main breadwinner of that team ever since Gasly left. And by the way, to be clear, they contractually stopped Yuki from signing with another team. Haas and Alpine showed interest to grab Yuki for this year and weren't able to because of his contract. I believe this is the entire reason why Yuki got a new manager to help with all this. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous and unfair. And obviously, he gets in the Red Bull, and it took him a while for that car to start behaving for him and get used to it. And then when he started delivering performances that are like, yeah, this guy's getting... You can see growth. I think you can see growth just about the entirety of the season that he was at the Red Bull team. But really, like maybe like 6 races in, you're like, okay, this is... Well, maybe not 6. Maybe like 10. 10 races in. 6 to 10 races in, you're like, okay, this is really happening now. This is like... You're seeing occasional bangers. For sure, he got, like, I think the best points finish since, like... I want to say mid-2023 or some shit. Or maybe like mid-2024. Like, it was like a P6. Like, it's been a really long time since a P6 has even been earned in the second seat. And, what's to say that this team was just constantly sabotaging him. Like, for about, like, I feel like the last 10 races, at the top of my head, even. At the top of my head, you had... So, okay, this is crazy, because this happened to Yuki, right? But this also happened to Max. We had one weekend where both Max and Yuki were released poorly. Like, they couldn't make their push laps in qualifying. Max, I believe, was the sprint, and Yuki was in main qualifying. Or was the other way around? Other way. It wasn't at the same time. One was sprint qualifying, and one was the main race, or main qualifying. The fact that happened twice in one weekend is ridiculous, and of course, if it happened to one of them, it was also going to happen to Yuki. I believe it was Qatar. They fucked up his tire pressure in qualifying. What are you talking about? You have 2 cars. Like, some things I do think is it's pure incompetence. Other things I could list off right now are pure failings from the strategy team. Pure failings. A bunch of failings. But tire pressure? You have fucking 2 cars. You have 2 cars to... What? I don't even think I've seen Ferrari fuck that up. Like, are you serious? Are you dense, bro? It's ridiculous, man. Like, it's fucking tire pressure. Like, that's when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. You actually just are sabotaging him, like, blatantly. I have like a feeling at some point, because to be clear, also a bunch of these races, I believe it was Brazil, or Vegas. It's hard to honestly. The last few races of the season have been completely fucked off and jumbled up in my brain. But Yuki's race pace in both the actual race and in practice was very close to Max. Like, basically even a lot of the time. He was absolutely gaining on Max in terms of performance. And you have to think, like, what the fuck? Like, if I know this, and a bunch of dumb shits on Twitter know this, like, you have to think, obviously Red Bull know this too. They have more data than we do. Like, but we with the data we see in the telemetry we have access to, we see on the sheets that he's gaining performance and is challenging Max on all of these. I don't think the him beating Max in sprint qualifying was super indicative of this. Like, it is, right? It is. It showcases that Yuki was gaining confidence and performance with the car. But I don't think it's all that. Like, I do think it was a bit of Max error, or a bit of Max not being as Max Verstappen as we know him to be. But, like, brother, it's ridiculous. It is so unreal unfair. I think, and this is what I'm saying, like, if you don't know the inner workings of this, you just see Yuki doing shit, and you're like, Yuki's, like, in 13th, and Max is winning races? I think this guy sucks, but you don't know, like, you're not seeing these god-awful strategy calls, tire pressure mess-ups in qualifying. Dude, it's just unfucking real, bro. Like, I know I'm not doing myself any favors by wearing a Yuki Tsunoda shirt, but I think you have to be just delusional to like, look past all of this shit and not be like, what the fuck is happening, man? Like, it's just crazy. It's so sad, man. And I gotta say, I'm bringing this also because I think I did mention this about 50,000 minutes ago. I'm a Hadjar fan as well. I was a big Hadjar fan in Formula 2. He deserved to win that Formula 2 season. Again, no, if you know, you know. And at the start of the year, I put him in, like, Shiest T or some shit, like, banger year, because I knew he was going to have one, because I knew the talent that Hadjar had. I was telling my family, like, every time I'm talking about F1, I'm like, watch this, Hadjar's amazing. I'm telling you. And look at that, podium in his rookie season with a car that Yuki developed. But, like, Hadjar is now in a position, and I do get it. Mekis is now the team principal, and God bless Mekis, bro. Like, actually apologizing for a lot of the Yuki shit that happened. Like, with the team principal, when Mekis is apologizing constantly, you know, like, you gotta look deeper than that. But Christian Horner's gone. Helmut Marko is gone. It's a new set of regulations. But look, that does not mean necessarily that Hadjar will now have a fair chance to showcase his talent. The team has a proven theory, at least for winning the Drivers' Championship, of purely benefiting Max. Purely benefiting Max. Actually, real quick, Yuki with a damaged floor on Abu Dhabi, fuck you. Kimmy, I love you. Like, it's not on you, but, like, again, that's just another heap of bad luck that happened to him. Like, ridiculous. But, like, Hadjar, it's, like, you gotta think, dude, if Hadjar, this could also just be another, big threat to another driver's career, a promising driver's career. Like, Yuki was the main breadwinner of VCARB for a few years, unfairly did not get put in Red Bull for whatever the fuck reason. I'm reminded that Yuki did a very little amount of, I think, basically no testing with Red Bull before he was in that Red Bull team. Lawson did a fuck ton of testing. It took Red Bull forever to put Yuki in a Red Bull car, just in a test. And then, you know, are surprised when his performance isn't matching what he was doing in VCARB. Go figure. But, like, dude, if, like, now Hadjar's career could be put in jeopardy, which I think is massively unfair. Like, you should put him, like, what are you really losing out on by keeping him in the VCARB for another year? I think really the problem is that they want to jam Arvid in the car so badly, and I'm happy to have Arvid on the grid. Having more people of color on the grid, a yippee, especially an Indian man, big up, big up. We love that. But like I don't know, man. Like Arvid could have done another year in F2 if I'm being honest. Or if you want to take him out, if you want to take him out of F2 and just have him as a reserve and test drive a sim driver, like bro, fucking do that. Like you're putting him in a very similar position of what Antonelli is in now, where he could be just massively overwhelmed by performance pressure, pressure from the media. Like, it's just I don't think it makes sense, bro. I think the other problem is that Lawson has been cracking in performances that are like good enough to keep him. And let me say this, right? I think, by the way, from what I'm hearing from Yuki's team and Yuki himself, I think there's actually a really good chance he might end up on the grid next year anyway. With obviously it couldn't be any other team but Aston. This is assuming Stroll gets kicked out. But what could happen next year? Funny enough, and I would love if this happened because I fucking hate Lawson. There's a real possibility that Hadjar underperforms in the Red Bull, gets demoted back to VCOB, and if Arvid is outperforming Lawson, which honestly, put money on it, it wouldn't surprise me, Lawson could get kicked out of the team, and then Yuki could get put back in the Red Bull. I refuse to believe that in this circumstance of Hadjar underperforming and they're like, oh yeah, we gotta get rid of, send him back to the VCOB, not ready. There's no way they'll put Arvid in. Hadjar just had the fucking season of his life in his rookie season, quite frankly. Like an amazing season. Are they really gonna be like, fuck it, Arvid? Dude, I don't care how talented Arvid is, by the way. Of which I do think he's quite talented. Do I think he deserves to be shoved to the front of the line to Formula One? Not necessarily, I guess. Although junior categories are not, I think, super indicative of driver talent. You can look at Kimi Antonelli and Behrman and Colapinto for this, who were middling like anywhere from 5th to 10th in the championship. I think Behrman was even lower. I feel like he's like, he might have been like 12th to 16th. He might have been even lower than that, but I don't think it's completely indicative of what you can do in Formula One. But unless I think the exception to this is if you're a F3 and F2 champion back to back. That speaks to an unreal amount of consistency. Because if you've seen an F2 and an F3 race, okay, it either means you're immaculately consistent or you're immaculately lucky. Because the amount of chaos that goes on in those races is fucking unreal. It's so crazy. But you had Fornaroli win both, brother. Dragovic doesn't even have a fucking seat. Like, I don't think he won an F3. I don't believe so. But he's not the F2 champion. Like, it's so... I don't know. Does Arvid deserve it? Sure, bro. I think he'll do fine, to be honest. I think there's a real possibility that he'll do fine. In F3, he was pretty good. He was a championship contender. F2, he wasn't as much as some media posts were trying to portray like he had a chance. I mean, I guess mathematically he did, but I knew that shit wasn't happening. Leonardo Fornaroli had that shit wiped down. But it's just... Dude, it's all the same... Is that this is all massively irresponsible from Red Bull. Like, hugely irresponsible. I can only see this going badly, like, to be honest. Because what you're going to see... Okay, imagine also... Say no one gets kicked out of the seat, right? What if Arvid just beats Lawson in the head-to-head and points in the championship? You're going to be looking at that, and if you're in VCOP or Red Bull, and being like, fuck, we're apes. We are actually knuckle draggers. We should have just had Yuki in the car. Because he would have fucking done better. Unless they really think Arvid is like, damn, this guy's talented. He would have beaten Yuki too, because he beat fucking Lawson. That guy that has never had successful wheel-to-wheel combat. Note the Perez incident, note the many science incidents, it feels like. Like, this guy fucking sucks. Also, I swear Lawson goes out of his way to impede Yuki so often. I point out Yuki, but I swear he does this shit all the time to just a bunch of drivers. Fuck this guy. He sucks. Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. This year has had a lot of ups. Like, I love the Williams resurgence. I love the Haas resurgence, and the Toyota title sponsor next year is massive. For those that don't even remember, they didn't even have a fucking simulator for, I think, up until last year or this year. Like, it was some shit like that, bro. Like, that team, I can't believe how far they've come now that they've put a Komatsu in the team. That's very nice to see. But boy, Lando, dude, what an undeserving champion. I didn't even bring up Max. Dude, I don't even have much to say about him. Although he did willingly drive into Russell in, Spain? And that cost him, like, a fuck ton of points. And that also lost him the championship. So let's look at people that are to blame for Lando Norris winning. Zach Brown, Andreas Stella, Max, not Kimi. It's unfair to say Kimi. Kimi didn't choose to fucking spin it out off track. If you believe that, you're a dickhead. Like, you're just a shithead. Look, I get it. It's enjoyable to be allied to, like, a team, like a driver, or like any sport, right? Dude, be realistic. And if you're doing that, look, and if you want to be a dickhead and pretend like it's all Kimi's fault in like a friend group, that's one thing. Don't harass the kid. He's a fucking teenager. Are you big? Are you really big and 24 and going and bullying a teenager? Come on, bro. Be so fucking serious. Do better. Do fucking better. But, yeah, dude, my throat hurts. I think I'm going to eat another slice of cake, which will be like, I think my 19th, 17th in the past, like, 2 days. Because it's hot as fuck in Australia, and I like a nice cold cake to cool me down. So, I've been Vilgax Viluda, whatever the fuck, man. This has been a big ass rant. If you listen to this, you're actually a sick freak. But yeah, dude. Probably no F1 videos from now on. If I upload on this channel, it's gonna be whatever the fuck I want. I might just pick up a mic again and just start saying shit because this is fun. But whatever. I'm gonna upload what I want. If this video bangs, that's hilarious. Fucking click for Palestine, free Palestine. Fuck the US. Zoran Goat Donnie. And fuck Pauline Hanson. Later.